Pleasant morning, everyone. There are awesome storytellers here. I've heard a lot of good stories that move. So I thought of sharing a story which really moved me. Everybody has their own mountain to carry. You know. There's a powerful emotion which we all connect to. That is regret. So I'm going to share a story about an individual who not only realized what this regret was, and this feeling drove throughout his life, and he was able to throw out of throw the mountain of regret he had by attaining enlightenment. So this enlightenment did not come easy to him. So this is his journey of struggle and his ride over the emotions and how he lived up to his masters to attain the enlightenment. This story happened in the 11th century Tibet, in the foothills of Himalayas, where there was a good businessman. He was doing good, his money was good, and his relationships were good. He was a kind one who used to give money to any relative who asked. On one fine day, his wife was pregnant. They had a son, and when the baby cried, it was so sweet that the father thought of naming the baby Topaga. In Tibet, it means someone with a sweet voice. So he was followed by a sister. Though parents always have some sort of attention towards the firstborns. Every parent will know that. He was a day one. Tobaga grew. When he was 7 years old, his father was struck with an illness. He was not able to move. All he could do was only look at people and speak a few words. And this time, the medicine person was called. In the earliest days, it was only valleys and mountains where people used to live. So the resources were minimal. So the old man was called, and he said to every relative nearby, there were only a few people, tens. So he called out everyone. So if you need something to tell, this is the right time. There is no other chance you're going to get. So the father called his brother and sister, and he said, I'm giving my family to you. You will have to take care of them, and make sure you give all that I have earned to Topaga when he's 16. He's now 7. So the wife thought, okay, it's just going to be struggle for 10 years, maybe, but I have my relatives to take care, And when the businessman died, the last words he heard was his wife telling, I know I'm there to take care of Tobaga and his sister. Don't look back. All that you have done is good for us. Just depart peacefully. And hearing this, the husband died. And it took a while for them to settle, but there was no money given to them. All the money they had, the prizes, the jewels, the land, it was all taken by the uncle. And the aunt, she was so particular about the jewels, she didn't even look back and ask the person for courtesy. She didn't ask her in-law for courtesy to even need something to eat. She had to work in the households. She had to go wherever the farm was. She learned everything. She was a businessman's wife. No, it is not possible for her to be a laborer's wife. So she had to go through the struggle. And when a time came when Tobaga was 16, she called for a feast. She had prepared 2 years for the feast to happen. She had to make sure all the resources were there. And when the feast was called and the relatives were asked for the money they were entrusted to, the uncle totally denied it. He said he was given with nothing. And the aunt was, no, these were the jewels given by my brother to me. Why would you expect anything? And she called her a liar and someone who was unfaithful to the family. This just threw her apart. She was totally, trashed. And she couldn't take it anymore. But Topaga, he didn't know anything. He was just a kid. He was a teenager. And he kept singing in the farms and looking at her son sing with no sort of an emotion, what is he going through in his life. The mother realized that, what is this? What have I done to him? He's so young to, carry all the burden. And that night she couldn't sleep. On that night, there was a saffron-wearing yogi who came towards their house and he asked, Madam, I need a night stay. Can you provide me with it? The lady replied, sure, what else? I have nothing to lose. I'll give you food, sir. Please enter my home. And then the oil in her lamp, it got dry. The light was out. And with a snap of his finger, the yogi was able to, light it. And she said, once there were a lot of lamps. Even now they are there. We used to live happily. And the yogi thought for a while and he snapped his finger twice and all the lights were up. She couldn't understand anything and she sat down and told her whole story. And she asked, "Sir, I know you have a lot of power. Who are you?" He said, "I am the yogi who's from the mountains of Tibet. I learned sorcery from a great master and I'm just a traveler. I meditate, I eat with whatever I get, and I live my life." And she asked for the address of the master, knowing that would come in handy sometime. And when she looked at Topaga, she thought, why shouldn't I send my son there? And she had little bit of jewels and the utensils, all that she tied it into a bag, sold it to a businessman, and got some sort of a pearl which was blue in color. And looking at it, Topaga was confused. "This should be valuable, mother. Don't you think? Why are you giving this to me?" And she said, "I'm going to give you the address of a gentleman. You're going to reach there and tell him that you have come to join him as a disciple and learn sorcery from him." And when Topaga reached and told all the details, he accepted. A year has passed. Topaga has got the skills to do menial things with sorcery. But when it was time to get back home, Topaga was reluctant. He didn't want to even move. He said to his master, "Master, I don't feel like going home at all. Why is it so?" And all that Topaga had in his mind was to make his mother happy. He learned sorcery to make his mother happy. He has got nothing else to do. All he knows is his mother for his entire life. And when Master heard his story, he said, "I can help you with a lot of things. I can help you with a lot of power. But I need to verify your story." And Topaga said, "Yeah, you seem wise. So, how do you go about it? It will take me days or even months to go to take you and verify the story." And the master laughed and said, "Come on, son, I am a sorcerer. I'll call out to my own son, who is a sorcerer of the wind, and he could be here in 15 minutes. And he called upon his son, and he just whooshed, flashed into the wind, and he came back and told, "Father, Topaga is true. What happened to his family is not justice." And then the sorcerer meditated for a while and found. He explained what he found in his enlightened vision. "Topaga, you're destined for a lot of big things. But I am a sorcerer of the wind. I know only to control one superficial element of the nature. But you need more than that to learn the art of sorcery. So I'm going to send you to someone who is my colleague, and we used to work together, but now he has attained the enlightenment from a big master." He gave him his address. Topaga took a few months to reach there. When he asked, he said the master was sitting in the Padmasana, and when he looked at Topaga, he said, "Topaga, you're here. I know you'll be here. Come." Topaga was surprised. How did he know? He asked the master, "Great master, how did you know? How do you know that I'll come here?" "This is my karma. I know what I'm doing. And in this lifetime, I have this power, which I'll be providing it to you. I know it long back. I've been knowing this for years." And he was initiated into the process, and it took a week's time. Only a week's time for Topaga to master. He was so sincere, and his draw towards his mother was so powerful that he learned it just like that. Everything was fast with Topaga. And when he came back to his own village after 1.5 years, he had learned that his mother had passed away. And his sister, she was nowhere to be found. Realizing this, Topaga sat for a while and meditated. He remembered what the master had taught. For a better sorcerer to perform the best trick, you need to be doing it in a darker day with all the force of enlightenment and the sorcerer's secrets. So what Topaga did, he waited for a week's time, and then a large gathering had come in his uncle's place, and he learned that his uncle's daughters were going to get married. So Topaga started meditating on that particular day, and he was able to bring hailstorms on that house. He brought a hailstorm so big that in one throw, 85 of the people became dead. And there was a poor old lady who was crying looking at that. She has lost her son in that incident. And when Topaga turned back and started walking, he felt some sort of a burden in his shoulders. You know, people always have this regret when they do something wrong. And he didn't remember even the death of his uncle or his relatives. The tears of the lady, it started pricking him in the inside. And it, it made him remember that he was not born to do this sort of a thing. He kept walking. He went back to his master and asked, Master, I know I've done the worst thing ever, but what I want to do is attain enlightenment. And I want to throw this regret out of my life. And whatever you have taught me, I want to do it for good. And then, when the master said, I don't know nothing about it, I can teach you sorcery, but enlightenment and being a Buddha, I can never teach you that. Go around, wander, it will get to you. Enlightenment will come to you. I know, I'm sure of it. Tabaga, you're destined for big things. Just keep walking. Tabaga went from one village to other, asking people if there was someone who could provide him enlightenment in this birth. And the yogis were frank enough to admit they can't do it. They said, we can teach you meditation, we can initiate you with something, we can teach you tantra, and we can even raise your kundalini. But enlightenment, that too in this birth, we are not that sort of men.